Hello, I'm Nenad Filipović. I'm Professor of General Management at IEDC Bled School of Management. And I'm speaking in interesting times, 40 years behind us, 40 years of the school, a lot of history. But as Charles Kettering, American innovator, said already in the 19th century, I will not talk about the past. I'm interested in future because I'm going to spend the rest of my life there. So what is ahead of us? As said, it's difficult to talk about the future because we don't know what it brings. But I think we can all agree on several things that characterize our times, and I call them times of turbulence, if not even chaos. Point one is geopolitical instability. Globalization went into full swing, now it's swinging back. We don't know where it will go next. Betting on developments might be very costly. So how to build strategies in such times? And of course, the other factor adding to instability is how to think about AI, the future of work, the impact AI will have on our companies, on our strategies. And last, although last out of the big three I would like to mention, although certainly not the least important, is a phenomenon which we are witnessing now for some time, and that is erosion of trust. It impacts our societies, it impacts our companies big time. It is well documented. So with these three things, global instability, AI, and trust, how to think strategically, what are the big topics for strategy? And I claim there are three. Topic one for strategic thinking is resilience. Next one is agility, and the third one, people. So let's visit these three. Resilience. Okay. Talking about resilience, first thing I would like to suggest to strategists, to people in charge of strategy in the company, is thinking about the boundary conditions, about the key assumptions that have to be there for our company to remain viable. What do we bet on? And should it be a bet? Let me give you an example of this boundary condition. If you are in cement industry, for example, a boundary condition for cement industry in Europe at this point in time is what will happen with the green transition in Europe. Will the cost of energy and cost of CO2 go up as it looked like a couple of years ago? Will the direction of the green transition be changed? What does it mean for cement companies? And if you are in cement business, you may A, take a bet. As said, it may be very costly, but on the other hand side, if you succeed, it can bring you a lot of benefits. Or you can try to change the way you relate, your business relates with the boundary condition, to become independent of it, to eliminate it from the list of key assumptions. How can that be done? Well, that is based on your thinking about the business model. And if boundary conditions are one thing to think about in terms of resilience, the flexibility of the business model is the other one. What are the things that drive our business model, and how do they relate to the key aspirations for the company? What is the key aspiration for the company? Is it, for example, short-term profitability optimization? Is it longevity? This drives key decisions about the business model, and what is essential is that whatever comes out of it is consistent, and that we have it in hands, that we implement the business model in the way which brings tangible results to the company. And finally, it is about the story. Our resilience in the world as it is now is depending on our relationship with the stakeholders. We just can't be resilient if we are not managing our stakeholder relationships properly. And stakeholder relationships, in my mind, is primarily about the story we are telling to the stakeholders. Keep in mind what Aristotle told us. Credibility of the story comes with the credibility of the one telling it. So ethos, it comes with the emotions we steer with the story, pathos, and it comes with the logical structure of the story, with how well it's supported with daily evidence and touching with the reality, which is about the business model. So if this is about resilience, What about agility? Well, I think agility starts with what companies don't, in my experience, don't often do in a very systematic way. And that is what I call sense making. It's constant observation of the world around us and interpretation of the signals we get and what do they mean for our company. How do they make us select key battles for the company? And once these battles change, because the sense making is telling us in dynamic world that we have to redirect our focus every now and then, and these days quite often, it has to be done with proper resource reallocation. So big strategic topic for the companies is how do they allocate resources, how do they switch this resource allocation, and how do they use them effectively. It goes down back to the old project management efficiency, an old and never-ending topic, but again one which I think we see is raising in importance. And last but not least, if we want to be agile, if we want to move fast, and not only we have to reallocate resources, financial, technological, and others, we also have to reallocate the management time, attention, and leadership. And I think being able to do it fast depends on the readiness of people at different levels of the organization to take leadership in their hands. Because if we have to wait that the whole chain goes up to the top of the company and back down for every decision to be made, it won't work. Which brings us to the third topic. And the third strategic topic clearly is people. One of my colleagues, Pierre Cass, defines it very nicely. He says, when living in a world which is insane, which is crazy, our job towards our people is to create something which he calls bubble of sanity, so that our company or the part of the company we're responsible for somehow is to some degree insulated from daily turbulence, to create a sense of psychological safety for our people. So that's primary, first leadership job. And then, of course, the other leadership job is to help people perform today and be ready for tomorrow. I think it's management of performance equations. I like two. Performance equals potential minus interference. So let's optimize the potential and let's minimize the interference. And of course, the old one, performance equals skill times will times opportunity, making people skillful, making people ready, and giving them the opportunity to engage. And last, talking about leadership in challenging times, I'm a big fan of Professor Ron Heifetz from Harvard and his adaptive leadership approach. But I think what we learned in the recent period, not only adaptive, what we learned is that what we really need, our companies, actually the whole world, is empathic leadership. I think there's a lot of evidence that in times of challenge and times of chaos even, it is not heroic leadership that gives good results. It's empathic leadership. And with that message, I wish you very successful next 40 years. Thank you very much.